AI tools are everywhere, but when it comes to answering your questions and enhancing productivity, ChatGPT and Perplexity AI are two of the biggest names out there. But which one is actually better for you? In this video, I'll compare ChatGPT and Perplexity AI side by side, diving into their strengths, weaknesses, and the ideal use cases for each. If you've ever wondered which AI tool is the best fit for your workflow, stick around. You're about to find out. Okay, so as I mentioned in this video, we'll kind of be reviewing GPT and Perplexity AI side by side and walking through a couple of things. Fundamentally, what use cases they are best used for, the UI and the usability of both the platforms, some of the differences in terms of features and functionalities, and then a little bit around the price point that you'll be looking at paying for both of these tools. And so fundamentally, I think what I'm going to do is first walk you through kind of the different approaches both have to utilizing AI. So the first thing I would say about ChatGPT, it's fundamentally used as kind of a conversational AI kind of co-pilot in a way. So fundamentally, the way to use GPT is asking it a question and then continuing to ask it questions and for it to kind of, work out an answer with you. Whereas with Perplexity, it's more of that, quick response, research-based, plugged into the internet kind of amalgamation of resources, I would say. So those are the main two differences in how I see the tools being used. Now, actually, to give you a firsthand showcase of how these tools kind of work side by side, I thought I'd ask it exactly the same question and see the difference in response it gives you. So I asked GPT, first of all, how do I fix my garbage disposal? And it gave me this kind of 8-step process of how to go through fixing my garbage disposal, which is great, right? Eight step. Now, what I mean by it being like a conversational assistant, let's say I want more information on this, right? And I'll say to it, I am at step 5. Give me more specific info. Yeah. So when I say that it's more conversational, again, I've asked it to kind of clarify or double down on one of the points it gave me. And fundamentally, what it's going to do is just go deeper on that kind of component, right? So it's going to ask, give me more information. And so that's what I mean by it being used as a conversational resource is you'll give it a prompt, it will give you something back, and you can continue to refine that with more conversation, more prompts. Now, if I head over to Perplexity, I've asked exactly the same question over here. Kind of different because one thing you need to know about Perplexity is kind of like basically amalgamating all the internet content on this specific issue. So not only has it given me an answer based on all that information that it's collated, but it's also going to give me relevant sources. It's going to give me relevant videos on YouTube. Actually, what it's doing is almost a replacement for Google in the way of instead of you having to go through each article, it's basically giving you one response for everything it's gleaned, and then it's going to give you all that relevant information in one view. And so actually for this specific prompt, that's how it differs in general, right? As I mentioned at the start, GPT more conversational, fundamentally is going to be used for that kind of connection to the internet, amalgamating information and giving you a response. So those are the two main differences to start things off is how you use it, and then secondarily, the type of information you're going to get back from a response standpoint. Now, let's move on to kind of the UI and the usability. Now, fundamentally, I actually think GPT is one of the easiest to use tools on the internet, fundamentally, and they've made it so, right? The starting point is literally what I can help with, and from here, you can populate it with anything. A prompt, just text-based, you can add files, you can add, a bunch of stuff just into this box here. And so from a usability standpoint, anybody, whether you are really advanced from a tech standpoint or never used or barely just used the internet, you'll understand how to use GPT because it's very similar to how you type something into Google. So again, if we type in something new, so like, write me good cold email, I run a So again, right, like fundamentally, it's easy. I can just pop in a response. It's going to give me a fairly robust answer, which is awesome. And so from a UI usability standpoint, phenomenal, really good, really simple to use. Perplexity, again, if we talk about usability, very similar, I would say, from a usability standpoint, or just text-based. So I'm going to populate in, and it's just going to kind of type it out for me. So fundamentally, from a usability standpoint, both platforms extremely easy to use. And so I'd actually compare them together. I'd say there's not one that's better than the other in terms of like the UI. Now let's dig into some of the additional features and where you can kind of supercharge your usage of ChatGPT. So what you can do is basically create these GPTs or apps inside of ChatGPT to do specific tasks for you. And so what these fundamentally are going to allow you to do is, instead of having to type in individual responses all the time, you're able to set up or configure these kind of GPTs to do specific tasks in your day. And that's where it gets extremely powerful. Now, again, really easy to use. It gives you kind of step-by-step, name it, add a description, give it instructions. What I've also created for this video is like basically a LinkedIn post creator. And to show you how powerful this is, I can simply put in something into this GPT that I've created, such as I had so literally all I've done, because I've set up all the background information on that page that I showed you previously, all I need to do now is simply put in, I had a good sales call today, I researched well and it helped. It's actually going to basically use all of that kind of prompting that I gave it, that GPT that I've created, and create a pretty decent LinkedIn post, which is super compelling, right? So that's where the power of ChatGPT comes in, is when you have these like apps basically set up, which you can create yourself. And now on a daily basis, I've got LinkedIn posts, right? I can simply put in something that's happened to me during the day and it's going to outlay a post. Now, Perplexity AI has something kind of similar in the way that you can create these spaces. And so I've basically done, and if I just show you again, really simple to set up, you can create a space, entitle it, add instructions. Now, fundamentally, what you've got to remember with both of these tools is the inputs make good outputs. So everything that you put in here from like a description and custom instructions is going to be what drives these models to do work for you fundamentally. But I've set one up for account research, and fundamentally my prompt here, as you can see, is respond as an account analyst. Any inputs spit out a good analysis of an account. This is for a sales use case, right? If I'm about to jump on a call with a prospect and I want it to do really deep research on an account, this is what this is going to do. So if I put in like Salesforce, simple, just that. It's basically going to do a full company research on Salesforce.com. Simple as that. Because it's got that connection to the internet, it can scan through 401k reports, all of that type of stuff, and give me a really good output. So kind of similar in terms of GPTs and spaces. You can create your own custom apps to do work for you. So fundamentally, I think at this point, we've discovered how they differ in terms of the kind of sources they're connected to, the UX and the UI. And fundamentally, I think the final piece that I'd like to cover is where I would use both of these tools. Now, again, I think for anybody watching this, I'm in a sales role, so I use both of these tools in very different ways. I'll use GPT for anything that I need to do from a content creation standpoint, as proven by this kind of LinkedIn post generator that I've created. But for Perplexity, it's very good at deep account research, and I haven't found GPT to be as good. And so I think if you need anything deeply researched across the internet, use Perplexity. If you're looking for that conversational walking through of problems, creation of content, GPT is going to be the way to do that. Now, from a pricing and packaging standpoint, let's quickly go into that works out as, so we'll talk about GPT first. Plus plan is $20 a month. And fundamentally for a single user, that's all you need. For a pro plan, it's now moved up to $200 a month. It gives you everything in Plus, but more access to their more advanced models, voice chats, and also SORA for video generation, which we'll actually cover in a different video. Perplexity, on the other hand, kind of has one tier, I would say. It has a free tier and then a professional tier at $20 a month, which gives you a lot of that deep account research. Again, GPT, I would say this video is going to walk through the simple features of GPT, I would say more of the conversational. And so for a single user, that $20 a month plan is going to be absolutely fine. Moving over to Perplexity, again, $20 a month, all of that research. Again, I would say at $20 a month for both of those, I would use both fundamentally for different use cases as I've explained in this video. When comparing them side by side, I would say both are must-have tools to use as part of your daily work. Fundamentally, Perplexity for deep account research, anything where you're asking it to do, a lot of amalgamation of data across the internet, and GPT for more of that conversational model where you're trying to walk through problems or even trying to write content either through, cold email or things like that. GPT is going to be the best tool for that. Hope you've enjoyed the video today. So which tool is right for you? ChatGPT brings unparalleled flexibility and depth for creative work and ideation, while Perplexity AI stands out for its concise, quick responses and search-driven approach. Ultimately, the best choice depends on your needs. Are you Team ChatGPT or Team Perplexity? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more breakdowns of the latest AI tools. This is the AI Breakdown. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.